This is a mock interview conducted by ForumIAS Academy at New Delhi. The interview panel includes eminent academicians, retired bureaucrats, and other luminaries. The objective of program is to acquaint the candidate with the format and expectations of the personality test conducted by UPSC.
May I come in, sir?
Please come.
Good morning, sir. Good morning,
Good morning.
sir. Good morning, sir.
You are Abhiruchi.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Very nice name. What does it mean?
Sir, Abhiruchi means aptitude.
Aptitude. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, where do you think your aptitude lies?
So, in my opinion, I have a good aptitude at analyzing the things. Yes, sir.
Analytical. And you have a science background.
Yes, sir.
So, science also helps build it up.
Yes, sir.
And are you doing anything currently after passing out?
No, sir. I have been preparing for the civil services.
Because you passed out in 2018
Yes, sir.
with a good first class at the instrumentation. That was your subject, Netaji Institute of Technology.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Tell us, if you were not to look at public service as a career, what would have been your career in the field of engineering, which you have spent 5 years on?
I think I would have preferred a career in the teaching background. So because I have had experiences in the teaching field as a part of the Prayas Society, which I was a member of during my college, and I love teaching students, especially from the marginalized communities. So I would have preferred a career in teaching.
But teaching only engineering, or you would have, then why you could have found a equal amount of satisfaction by teaching humanities or physics, chemistry, maths, but here, particular in the field of engineering which you studied, would you have preferred there also teaching?
Yes, sir. And so, in fact, I have developed an understanding of the multidisciplinarity of the subjects. So that would have helped me in taking up any stream of teaching, I think. And that in engineering would have further helped me in better analyzing the other aspects of teaching. And I might explore other areas in teaching, sir.
Okay, and do you think this, apart from the analytical abilities
Yes, sir.
which you have developed, how would this particular subject help you in public service, say in the IAS or the police?
Yes, sir.
Because you have given police as your number 2 choice.
Yes, sir.
How would it help you?
Sir, instrumentation and control engineering, it basically deals with monitoring the performance of a device and then analyzing the feedback and adjusting the feedback to get the desired output. So, sir, I think the same skills can be used in public administration, because we continuously monitor the performance through key performance indicators, and we continuously take feedback from multiple stakeholders, and we keep optimizing the output. So it can help me improve efficiency in administration.
Do you have any immediate relations in public service?
No, sir.
So you'd be the first one in the family or the extended family?
Yes, sir. My parents are in the government service, sir, but not exactly in the administrative service.
Very good, Abhiruchi. Just one other question. Tell me, why have you chosen police as your number 2 service over the other desks, more desk-oriented services?
Because I think police gives me an ample scope and opportunity to interact at the grassroots level. And so I myself, belonging to a rural background and brought up in that, I can understand the problems that the marginalized communities, especially in the rural areas, face. So the police service gives me that opportunity, that outreach to engage with them and to make an impact and make their lives better. That is why I chose it as my second preference.
Police service is considered a physically tough service. Your playing Kho-Kho would have helped or would help because you've been a Kho-Kho player.
Yes, sir. Because having an interest in sports, it helps build a physical fitness, which is required for the police service as well.
Good.
Abhiruchi, just general curiosity from my side. What is the difference between aptitude and intelligence?
Sir, I think intelligence is a multi-dimensional aspect, and it includes various aspects. For example, intelligence in analyzing, intelligence in mathematical capabilities. So it is and also social intelligence. So it is a multidisciplinary aspect. Whereas aptitude is a part of intelligence. We can say a subset of intelligence. It is something which we have inherent capabilities to learn a skill, for example. So, in my opinion, aptitude is a subset of intelligence.
You're going to revise it. You have studied, I guess, in ethics, right?
Yes,
Paper 4. Okay, so let's start your mock. Achha, tell me something. During this protest against farm laws, why only people from Punjab, Haryana, and Western UP were involved, and also from Rajasthan? Why not from other part of the country?
Sir, I think Haryana and Punjab and Rajasthan mainly became the epicenters of the protest because number one, they are agrarian dominated areas compared to other areas in the country. And number two, sir, it was also because the farmers in these
Bihar
regions...
is 100% agrarian. Bihar doesn't have anything. So is the case with Eastern UP. They are only dependent on agriculture, nothing else.
So then in my opinion, it might have a relation with the prosperity of the farmers in these regions. So because this was also one of the reasons that the protest continued for a long period of time, and farmers from comparatively lesser prosperous agrarian states, they cannot afford to sit on the protest for such a long period.
That's a greed. ज़्यादा है और ज़्यादा चाहिए. जिनके पास नहीं है, जो गरीब है वो बोल नहीं सकते, right?
Not exactly that, but because they could afford to sit and they claim themselves as the voice of the farmers all over the country. So,
how do you see the merit of these farm laws?
So I think the farm laws were well-intentioned laws, and the background behind it was to improve the income of the farmers. It was also to give them better price realization outside the mandis, because we saw the inefficiency of the APMCs, and also it encouraged contract farming. So they were well-intentioned laws, but I think the reason that it turned into protest was that the farmers, which were an important stakeholder, they should have been engaged in a more constructive and more proactive manner during the formulation of the laws.
Simple thing, na? See, I'm giving you a better price.
Yes.
You are not ready to take better price. You want lesser price. Why? I mean, this is a common sense, right? What kind of engagement that, according to you, government should have undertaken?
So I think it should have been proactively put out in the public domain, and other government...
No, I think the point which you are referring to,
Yes, sir.
just to jog your memory, the fear was the removal of MSP.
Yes, sir.
That if we allow the mandis to be replaced,
Yes, sir.
or the APMCs to be replaced by operations taking out trade, the government was creating a base for saying there is no need for APMCs, and all the government procurement, because
Yes,
the FCI had given out the work to the APMCs had become warlords.
Yes, sir.
You know, the office bearers of APMCs were like lords in the villages and others. So
Yes, sir.
the assurance of saying everything is happening but the MSP will remain, that for
The
months
sense
together,
of insecurities that was not
for
addressed.
months together, the government didn't give it. Only when it came closer to the elections, then UP elections and others, then the government relented a bit on that. Intention probably was there that if the market forces work, kya zarurat hai? MSP in any case is going away to the larger farmers.
Yes, sir.
The benefit was the people who had a larger surplus.
Yes.
The poor farmer, smaller farmer who had nothing other than subsistence growth, he would get very little. So this was a protests were dominated by these larger Sardarjis and Haryana people receiving irrigated water, large holdings, etc. And they had sustaining power. Meaning, automatic machine roti banane ki Sonipat ये तो दिल्ली के बाहर लगा दी थी. You know, money from Canada and automatic roti machine working with a plug from there. Yeah, those kind of things. So it was a test of nerves also, saying who will buckle first. But MSP government should have said, we are not, howsoever uneconomic it has been, whatever has been the fault, we are not removing the MSP. And the rest of it we are tinkering around. You know, the only point I just want to add to what my esteemed colleague is saying the interview is here not to defend the government. What you feel. It is within the four walls, nobody is listening, nobody is going to be talking outside. Do you think things were going well? Because government has enough people praising them. So we're looking for independent-minded, independent judgment public servants. Is that right? So what you feel, state it. No, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Acha, there was this news that NCERT has revised history books, right?
Yes, sir.
How do you see this revision? Are you aware of the revision that was brought in? How do you see the revision?
NCERT justified the revision, saying that it was a rationalization of the content, and because this had also been the demand of the parliamentary committee, especially during the COVID, because there was an increase in the burden of the courses and it was impacting the learning outcomes of children. So there was a demand from the parliamentary standing committee, and also one of the main demands under NEP that there should be a rationalization of the content.
What do you mean by rationalization? What is this rationalization word?
So rationalization means altering the content or modifying the content to suit the contemporary needs of the education system. And this was done keeping in view that there are no overlaps in the syllabus and that the outdated portions are removed or done away with. So that was the intent behind rationalization.
What is outdated in history? If you have to define,
yes, sir.
What is the outdated part in history?
So the rationale behind removing the portions in the history was rather than being outdated, it was that there are overlaps in this. So for example, the chapter that on Mughals that was removed, that has been already covered under other themes in class 7th and also under other themes in class 12th. So that was the justification given towards rationalization.
Tell me something, can history be changed? Or before that, tell me, why should we read history?
So we should read history because what we are today, that is somehow an outcome of what the events have happened in the past. And number two, we need to read this because if we analyze the impacts of the events that happened, we can have important learning lessons from that for the present times. So these are the reasons we should read history.
Then why at the first place, what was taught in class 7th was again repeated in class 12th?
I'm sorry, sir, did not get the
question. You said it was repeat. Whatever was there in class 7th was again repeated in class 12th, and that's why it was removed to what you call the alleged rationalization, to bring in alleged rationalization.
Meaning you don't like the reputation of the role of Mughals. What was taught in 7th, why should it be taught again in 10th or 11th?
No, sir. Actually, the rationalization was done to decrease the course curriculum or the syllabi, so that the burden of education on the students is reduced and the learning outcomes can be improved. So this redundancy was done not to decrease the importance of Mughals in history, but to rationalize or rationalize the course content, so that there is a decreased burden on the students, which was impacting the learning outcomes.
Hello, Abhiruchi.
Hello, sir.
So you like visiting the sacred pond in
Yes,
your
sir.
village. Why is it sacred?
So the pond that is there in my village, it goes by the name of Baba Dhab, and it is sacred because of the local village deity Baba Dhab, and also because there is a sacred grass which grows there. It is called Dhab grass. So largely it is because of the sentiments of the people that are associated with that pond with the local deity that makes it sacred.
It's a local deity that is
Yes.
there. Okay. So what is the source of water there?
So it is largely rainwater.
Rainwater.
Yes.
And groundwater also?
Yes,
Seeps
the
up?
groundwater seeps up. Right.
Okay.
Mahendragarh is a very, at one time, very drought prone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is bordering Rajasthan.
Also, especially in this region, in southern Punjab and, Haryana also, lots of these traditional water bodies have disappeared in the recent times. Part of climate change, part of our, anthropogenic activities as well. So how do you think, these water bodies can be revived? And is the government taken any step in this regard already?
Yes, sir. Also, very recently, Amrit Sarovar Yojana was launched by the government. And so, what can be done in this regard is mainly community participation, because these bodies cannot be protected until the community considers itself an important stakeholder for their conservation. So, more effort should be on community participation and community outreach activities to conserve these bodies.
Okay, and is this pond also part of the Amrit Sarovar project?
No, sir, this pond is
This
not.
is not.
No, sir.
And also, are there any economic activities like fisheries or some other utilization that can be done?
So right now it is mostly used by the community for their livelihood. For example, for the plants that grow near the area, they are used for fodder collection and also for drinking water purposes by the animals. Other economic activities are not there, but I think there's a huge potential for ecotourism and Ayush that can be tapped.
Okay, very right. So you have graduated in instrumentation and control.
Yes, sir.
How is it different from electronics?
So there are certain overlapping subjects and in the initial semesters overlap with EC. Then after that we study artificial intelligence, in linear integrated circuits, and it turns more towards artificial intelligence and instrumentation in specific, like the sensors, transducers, which are used, for example, in space missions, like that.
Okay. What is a feedback loop in the instrumentation that you talk about?
Yes, sir.
There is a thing called feedback loop.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
explain what is it?
So the feedback loop, it first of all measures the output which is there, and then it compares it with the set input, and it calculates the error signal and adjusts the input to get the intended output.
Okay, all right. Thank you. That's all from my side. I'll pass on to the next.
So Abhiruchi,
Yes, sir.
you are executive member of debate club.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you have interest in debates, and your strength is analyzing things.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do you think India is a debating society?
Sir, I think India is more of a discussing and deliberative society, because we are tolerant to others' opinions. We take inputs from others, analyze it, give our opinions, and we have a accommodative approach while discussing the things. So it's more of a discussing and deliberative society.
Is there any particular difference between discussion and debate?
Sir, in case of debating, we have a stand and we defend that stand. But in case of discussion, I might alter my stand as well if I get input from others, and I think that those inputs also need to be taken care of. So I can alter my stance according to the situation.
Nice. Are you aware of this term argumentative Indian?
Sorry, sir.
Argumentative Indian.
No, sir, I've not.
That's the name of a book by Amartya Sen.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Since you have interest in debate, just give one minute debate speech on pros and cons of Khap Panchayats, especially in Haryana.
So if I start with the pros of Khap Panchayats, so I see them as community organizations or civil society organizations which can play a very important social role. Sir, there are also examples of various Khap Panchayats in Haryana which have been playing a positive role against the social evils. There is Kajla Khap, which is fighting against the menace of dowry. There are other Khap Panchayats which have done a good role in improving the sex ratio in many villages. So they are positive. They are those organizations which play a positive role in the society. If I talk about the cons of Khap Panchayats, the cons occur when these bodies exceed their roles as civil society organizations and take up judicial roles. And when they impose their decisions, taking the law in their hands, there are several examples of honor killings happening which have been provoked by these Khap Panchayats. There have been steps by these panchayats against intercaste marriages. So these are some cons which have made these bodies, which have questioned the role of these bodies. So in my opinion, the Khap Panchayats should not exceed their role as a civil society organization, should not take up judicial role. They should act as eyes and ears of the administration.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.